Hey guys, and welcome back to part 10 of the I Know Why Your Results Might Suck series. Well, we're up to the 10th video now, and today we're going to follow on from the 3 key issues that you possibly need to look at. We discussed gut health, and then in the last video we were talking about blood sugar management, and then today we're going to look at adrenal fatigue, or as I like to call it, adrenal exhaustion. Because adrenal fatigue, whichever way you want to look at it, it kind of isn't really a thing as such. Associate adrenal fatigue to a lot of tiredness, a lack of energy. But it's more a case of people get exhausted over time, and that's why they experience issues of struggling to get up in the morning, or having that slump in the afternoon. You know what I'm talking about there. You've had your lunch and then you're in the office and you just feel tired and you want to go straight back to the coffee machine. And then there's people who struggle to get to sleep at night, or those who maybe wake up during the night. This is all stuff that is related to adrenal exhaustion and the blood sugar management that we discussed in the last video. But when we're talking about adrenal fatigue, adrenal exhaustion, ultimately what we are talking about is good old-fashioned stress. Now, I often say that stress is like the 21st century plague. It's kind of everywhere. We can't get away from it, I'm afraid. We have more stress now than what we had 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago. Why? Because we have more technology. And technology obviously is a great thing. It does a good job, helps us out. But the flip side is it causes other issues. Things like we watch the telly, we watch the news, we see all of the bad stuff that's happening on in the world. This creates a stress response. And then we've got computers, we've got mobile phones, we read emails. These are all things that help people get stressed. You see, we've got stress coming at us at 1,000,000 miles an hour. People are too busy being busy these days. They haven't got enough time to exercise, they haven't got enough time to eat healthier, or so they say. Okay, using up excuses and creating stories is obviously a completely different subject, so we're just going to stay on this topic of stress. So what happens is that we create all of these different stress responses. Now, one way that I like to explain this is using the stress bucket. Imagine you've got this bucket inside of your head and you go to work and someone pisses you off, and you drop a little bit of water into the stress bucket. Then you open up your computer, you read an email, and you have some bad news. Your stress bucket goes up, and your boss puts a load of work on your desk. When you're about to leave, your stress bucket goes up again. You're driving home, and you're in a traffic jam. There's something else to add to your stress bucket. And you get home, you realise you've got no food, and your stress bucket goes up again. And before you know it, all of these different stress responses that come flying towards you ends up with that bucket overflowing, and then that often leads to emotions coming out of the bucket. So you get pissed off, you fall out with people, you get tired, you get ratty, you make choices that you quite possibly regret. And this is where we can start talking about poor choices around food and possibly alcohol. Normally it's all a result of how you're feeling at the time. Most people don't purposely go, right, I'm going to self-sabotage my nutrition plan and my diet today. They often do it because of how they are feeling at the time. So as I say to people, if you want to live a healthier lifestyle, you want to learn how to eat better and make better choices, stop trying to focus on what you keep needing to learn or what you don't know, but focus on how you feel, because if you start feeling better, you start making better choices. You choose into things that you already know, and as I always say, we often know what we need to do, we just struggle to do it. So let's go a little bit deeper with what actually happens when we get stressed and how it affects you and possibly around your lifestyle and nutrition. So imagine you get stressed. That triggers off your fight or flight response. Now most people have kind of come across that, but basically what that does is it releases cortisol into the body. Again, that's your stress hormone, and ultimately what's happening here is your gut and your digestion are kind of switching off because it's not needed. Cortisol goes up, so blood sugars go up, blood is released into your limbs, because back in the good old days we had to run away from saber-toothed tigers. But now when you're sat in the office and getting pissed off because you're reading emails or falling out with your boss, you don't need to run away. But your brain doesn't know the difference. So cortisol is released, blood sugars go up, you've got this blood sugar floating around in your system, kind of doesn't get used up, so it has to go somewhere into your fat stores. So when I talk about how stress can make or help people struggle to lose weight or put on weight, it is a thing. There's quite a simple reason why it happens. So if you want to lose weight, learning how to control your stress really is a massive thing that you want to learn how to do better. Because when we're calm and when we're relaxed, we are in our rest and digest nervous system. So if we eat our food, we're more likely to digest it and absorb the nutrients. So people who get stressed are prone to food cravings or overeating, because the food that they eat doesn't get digested properly and they don't absorb the nutrients. If you don't absorb the nutrients, your brain still thinks you're hungry, it's not happy. So what does it do? It sends out another signal, go and eat food. So if you're someone who has a lot of food cravings and you think that possibly I'm eating too much, it's possibly because your stress levels are constantly going up and up and up. And another thing, if your stress response is up, your cortisol is high, you're going to struggle to sleep at night. Why? Because, quite simply, when cortisol is up, serotonin cannot be produced properly. And we need serotonin to help us sleep. And then things like melatonin are not produced, which again is another chemical that we need to sleep. So, to keep things real simple here, controlling your stress levels is one of the biggest and most powerful things you could do or learn on how to do better to increasing your energy, losing weight, and just generally being healthier. If it's the one thing that you can learn to do, it's that. There's loads and loads of different ways that we can do this, and I'm not going to be able to just give you all the answers on this short video, because that's something that obviously we kind of really need to look at, certainly from a one-to-one level, and look at all the things that are actually going on in your life that are coming at you, and then break things down. But one little simple trick that you could do, and it's really powerful, it's so simple, it's crazy, is just do a brain dump. The trouble is that most people have all of their thoughts and feelings stuck in their head. Let's start to ease the stress bucket a little bit by start writing out how do you feel, what you're thinking at the moment. When you start writing things out on paper, it's just kind of funny how things start to get clearer. So there you go, get brain dumping. Right guys, I'll be back with you in video 11. Take care.